Most SaaS companies hit a growth plateau around $2 to $5 million in ARR. But in order to get ahead of everyone else, you need to do something completely different. In the last 20 years, I've built and scaled SaaS companies, including my own firm, iContact, which we grew to $50 million in ARR and exited for $169 million. And now through SaaS Rise, I work with over 500 SaaS CEOs and founders at every stage from $1 million to $150 million in ARR. And I've noticed a clear pattern. The SaaS companies that break through to 7, 8, and 9 figures in annual revenue are doing a few specific things that most other companies never figure out. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what those things are. These aren't super complex, and they're not secrets by any means. But by implementing them, you'll be able to make the difference between staying stuck and actually scaling and passing that 5 to 10 million ARR range where so many companies get stuck. The first step is to solve a problem you deeply understand. Of course, the best way to find a problem to solve is to experience it yourself. Experience the pain of a specific problem in a specific niche or industry that hasn't been solved yet, that can be solved through software, AI, and automation. And then fire up your Claude Code or Lovable and build an MVP to fix it. There's no need to write a long list of product requirements or to even learn Figma to do mock-up designs. Just go straight to building using natural language with your AI coding tool of choice, combined with the right database platform like Supabase, for example. Now, together with these AI tools and your front-end view, you'll be able to make sure you solve that initial MVP problem. Then all you need to do is start marketing to that niche and start getting real user feedback. This is how you bootstrap and get started. Go post on Reddit forums, announce yourself on Product Hunt and Hacker News, find relevant LinkedIn, Slack, WhatsApp, and Facebook groups to post to. Bootstrap to your first 100 active users. You don't even need to charge them that much. Just get in the door, giving them feedback. Then you can actually start scaling. So reach out to everyone you know. Test bidding on the keywords of your competitors' brand names, cold email agencies that you can reach out to that work within that vertical, and fire up Apollo, Instantly, ListKit, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and go get the emails who likely have that same problem that you've now solved, and offer them a free trial or freemium account. Create a bunch of relevant long-tail SEO content, and do whatever you have to do to get those first 10 paying customers. Once you have those first 10 paying customers, you have enough to actually calculate your unit economics, which is the key to true scaling in SaaS. Step 2, master your unit economics. Now, what does that mean? It just means the value of a single new customer to your company. You need to know how much revenue they'll generate on average and how much you're willing to pay in sales and marketing costs to get them in the door. Most founders don't actually know what a customer is worth to you. And if you don't know that, you're flying blind. You're not going to be able to scale. Let me walk you through the key unit economic measures because this is the secret to scaling. ARPA is average revenue per account. It's how much each customer pays you on average. You calculate it by taking your total revenue for a period, like a month or a quarter, and divide it by the total number of customers you had in that month or that quarter. That's the foundation of everything here. Next is account churn. Account churn is the percentage of customers you lose each month. Let's say you have 100 customers and 3 of them leave in a month. Well, that's 3% monthly churn rate. If you know your churn rate, you can easily calculate how long an average customer stays with you. It's simple math. You just take 1 and divide it by your churn rate for that month. So if your churn rate is 3%, you divide 1 by 0.03, and that gives you 33 months. That's your customer lifespan. And you could do that either on a monthly basis or annual basis. Now, if you multiply your ARPA times your lifespan, that gives you the magic number, your lifetime value. That LTV is the most important number in your entire recurring revenue business. If your ARPA is $500 a month and your lifespan is 33 months, well, 33 times 500, your LTV is about $16,500. Now, once you know your LTV, you can figure out how much you can afford to spend to acquire an incremental new customer. That's your CAC, your customer acquisition cost. The best rule of thumb out there is you want to aim for about 1/6 of your lifetime value. So if your LTV is $16,500, you can afford to spend about $2,750 to acquire an incremental new customer. And that would be a mid-market number. If you're SMB, if your LTV is $1,700, well, maybe you can afford about $300 to acquire an incremental new customer. Once you know your target CAC range, everything changes in your business because now you know exactly what you can afford to spend on ads, on sales, on marketing. At iContact, we became obsessed with these numbers. We track them obsessively. We were tracking these in 2004, 2005, very early in the game as an early SaaS company. And it was that obsession that allowed us to scale to 50 million in revenue very quickly by 2011. Why did we do that? How did we do that? Because we knew exactly what worked and what didn't. We knew how much every channel cost us in terms of customer acquisition cost, cost per trial, cost per qualified lead, and what the average revenue per account, ARPA, and churn criteria were for those channels so that we could calculate the lifetime value per channel and how much we were willing to spend per channel. We knew which channels were profitable and which ones were burning money, and we scaled the spend down on the ones that were unprofitable and scaled the spend way up to $1.5 million per month in ad spend. And that allowed us to acquire 3,000 new customers a month from ads. Most founders, for whatever reason, they don't have the rigor to do the math and iterate on the conversion rates for 6 to 12 months that it takes to figure it out, how to do the ads, the audiences, the offers, the landing pages, and the product refinement. Instead, 99% of founders that aren't going to get into hypergrowth, they just throw money at marketing and hope something sticks. But you have to get a great product combined with great mathematical driven marketing. And that's why they stay stuck. And that's what separates the 1% from everyone else. Step 3, build a multi-channel acquisition machine. There's a huge difference between companies that get stuck at that 2 to 3 million in ARR and companies that reach 30 to 40 million in ARR and beyond. It's not the product, it's not the team, and it's not luck. It's that these scaled SaaS companies have figured out how to acquire customers profitably across multiple go-to-market channels. Many founders make a mistake here. They either avoid paid ads completely or they throw money at them unscientifically and waste it and don't track or do proper attribution. The key is to know what's working and to know how each of the different types of ads work together between demand generation and demand capture. You know if your ads are working by looking at your unit economics. If your CAC is lower than your target CAC for a particular channel, those ads are working. If it's higher, they're not. But ads are just one customer acquisition channel. We also have to talk about outbound email and affiliates. Outbound email works really well if your ACV is at least $2,000 a year and up. How do you do it? Well, you just build a list of everyone in your target market and you export a list of everyone who fits your ideal customer profile in the geographies that you serve. And then once you have that CSV file, then you reach out to them systematically across multiple channels. You build relationships by providing value. Now, the power of this is that you're not just waiting for customers passively to find you. You're going out and finding perfect customers for you. Then there's the third channel that I mentioned here, content and SEO. This becomes your inbound engine that can work regardless of your outbound. You create content that attracts people who are already looking for a solution that have high intent. You make sure you're ranking well in Google and Bing, you're building authority, you're using tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs to be able to track both your AI citations as well as your rankings and the number of incoming links and the amount of organic traffic. And you also build an affiliate program and a reseller program where you give 20 to 30% of the lifetime value of the revenue of the customer away. Why not give it to an affiliate who's sending you customers? And while all of these strategies together are wonderful individually and can each generate, depending on your segment, 10 to 30 to 50 customers per month or more, the magic comes when you combine all of these channels together. You're creating content that they find through search engines, and you have an affiliate program that gets the word out and a customer referral program that gets the word out. All of this makes you omnipresent to your customers. It makes your brand omnipresent anywhere they go on the internet, and that is what separates a company that gets stuck at 2 to 3 million to a company that can scale to 30, 40, 50 million and beyond. Step 4, bootstrap to product market fit and then raise capital. Now, here's the trap that a lot of founders fall into. They simply raise money too early. Founders get excited, you have an idea, you pitch it, and then you take a check before you've actually demonstrated that you have product market fit. That's not what you should do. So instead, what you should do is raise money after you get to product market fit, once you've proven that your product solves a real problem. Bootstrap to product market fit to at least 500,000 in ARR, if not $1 million in ARR. Why? Because bootstrapping forces discipline. It forces you to focus on revenue and customer acquisition and not vanity metrics. And most importantly, it makes you listen to your customers. Because if you're bootstrapping, you have to listen to your customers to survive, and you have to iterate and make your product better to survive. But if you go first to investors, suddenly they have the leverage. You're going to start building things that they want rather than building things that customers want. And at that point, once you have real product market fit and customers that are sticking around, that are coming back, low churn, then all the investors will want to come to you, and that's fine. But build to 500K to $1 million in revenue, and then raise venture capital if you need it. And you can also do revenue-based financing with Founder Path or Cap Chase or Lighter Capital. And that is essential if you're going to maintain control of your company and own the majority of the shares in your cap table. Step 5, hire people who have been there before. Now, at some point, you realize the bottleneck's no longer the product. It's not the market. It's your team. It's the experience level of your team. And you simply can't scale past what your leadership has experienced. So if your VP of sales has never been with a company past 10 million, they probably won't be the best leader to get you to 50. And if your VP of marketing has never run a company at scale, they're probably not going to know how to build the go-to-market systems that you need to get to 50 or 100 million. So you need to hire people who have been there before, and you need executives who have already built companies to that level that you're striving for, 50 million, 100 million in ARR or higher. People who are comfortable with having responsibility in an organization that scales, people who communicate well, recruit great people, and retain great people. And when you have people on your team that have been there, done that, they don't have to figure it out. It's a repeatable process. And truthfully, this is one of the biggest investments you can make once you get to 4 or 5 million in ARR that will allow you to get to 50 million in ARR so that you can scale up to 30 or 40. But do it slowly because you don't want bureaucracy and you don't want too many experienced people ruining the founder culture. So it's the right balance. Step 6. Build systems, not just a business. Now, here's the difference between a company that exits for 10 million and a company that exits for 100 million. The $100 million exit is a company that is built on systems. The $10 million company is built on the back of the founders and maybe a couple good team members. And if your company falls apart when you take a week off, you don't have a business. You have a job. At iContact, we built systems for everything: customer acquisition, onboarding, retention, support, technology, HR. We documented every process. We created repeatable workflows, and we trained people to do things the way we wanted them done. And then we could scale without burning out because the system was doing the work, not just me and Aaron as co-founders. By year 9, we were pulling in $4 million per month in sales. Imagine that. You sit back, you go on a 30-day vacation, you come back, and $4 more million are coming in. And that $4 million per month came in regardless of whether I was working or on vacation for a few weeks. So here's the thing. When you go to sell your company, that's what buyers are looking for. They're buying a system. They're not really buying you most of the time. They want to know that the business can run without you and that the cash flows can be sustained beyond the current leadership team. And that's what makes a company valuable. That's what separates the 10 million exit from 100 million exit and beyond. Step 7, surround yourself with people who have done it before. Building a company can be lonely. Your investors are conflicted. They want you to hit certain metrics, but they also want you to take risks that might not always be in your best interest. Your employees don't have the experience you need. They can execute, but they can't always advise. So where do you go to get good advice? You get it from people who have been where you are or where you're actively trying to go. If you want to find a mentor, find someone 5 years, 10 years ahead of you. Simply being in a room with people who have done it before can genuinely change everything. And so regardless of whether you're watching today and you're 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, find a mastermind group, surround yourself with people who've done it before. That's why we built SaaS Rise and Growth Rise, our 2 mastermind communities. When you join the right mastermind group, your decision-making gets better. When you're in the right Slack groups, you avoid mistakes that would have cost you years. And when you're in the right WhatsApp forums, you see patterns that other people miss. I didn't have that luxury of having community around me when I was building iContact. I had to figure out most of it myself. But most of those founders weren't in tech. They weren't in SaaS. They weren't in B2B SaaS, and they weren't dealing with the same types of challenges I was facing as a young CEO. So that's why I created our mastermind communities, SaaS Rise and Growth Rise. SaaS Rise is a community for B2B SaaS founders building companies from 1 million to 100 million in ARR. We have over 500 founders now, all on the same journey, all sharing what's actually working in the Slack channel, WhatsApp channel, Circle group, and on our weekly mastermind calls. If that sounds interesting to you, check it out at the link in the description, saasrise.com, and we'd love to have you apply. If you're at least $1 million in ARR and are in SaaS, you qualify. You have to be a founder or CEO. And if you're not the SaaS CEO or founder at 1 million ARR or beyond, but are still passionate about growth and B2B revenue, we have another community that's just for you, for either the 0 to 1 million folks or the corporate folks that are B2B marketing leaders like heads of growth, CMOs, heads of marketing. Come join our other community for B2B marketers at growthrise.com. Now, in this video, I talked a little bit about client acquisition and marketing. Even though that's an important part of getting ahead, that's not everything, which is why I made this video that you can watch if you're ready to learn the exact proprietary SaaS marketing strategy I teach to all my SaaS Rise members and all of our one-on-one clients that you need to follow if you want to actually grow and scale in a predictable manner in 2026. I'll see you over there.